If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.
Hello everybody and welcome to Carmentary. My name is Neil and today I'm going to do an update and talk quickly about the Niseko rules, some new information, and the recent avalanche and fatality that was on Mount Yote. Just a little extra commentary about that, something I heard just a few minutes ago I thought I'd relay to you. First of all, the Niseko rules relating to helmets. The helmet rule, I think I mentioned briefly. You need to wear a helmet when exiting the gates in the Niseko area to access the side country. This is a rule that came into effect 1 or 2 seasons ago. And now that all the tourists are back, I had a comment, someone was wondering if it's being actually enforced. I put out some messages to friends in the Niseko area and the unanimous response was no, it's not being enforced. I believe it's still a rule, it's still in the Niseko rules, and hey, a helmet's is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. If you can wear a helmet, bring a helmet, wear a helmet. Some people don't like to wear helmets. Some people hate helmets. Some people refuse to wear helmets. I understand. Hey, I think it should be your free and personal choice. I do not think there should be a rule that says you have to wear a helmet to go into the side country. I think that's ridiculous. If it's a ski resort and they absolutely require you to buy a helmet or to wear a helmet to even purchase a ticket to get on the resort, okay, maybe that's their choice. They're going to lose a lot of customers. So that's why they don't do that. And therefore, to say you have to wear one to go into the side country, which is like public land, government land, national park land, it seems really kind of ridiculous. But that is something you have to understand about the culture here. A lot of times there will be rules put into place and then those rules are not enforced very strictly. And that's that kind of gray zone that you kind of want to stay in because it's actually not a bad thing sometimes. There's a rule there. And if anything ever happened, let's say there was an accident, there was a head injury or something, they would be able to say, hey, we required a helmet, you rode without one, that's why you got injured, it's not our fault. It's kind of more of like I don't know if it's really a liability issue, but it's that kind of a thing. It's the rules out there, we said you should do it, we're not enforcing it very strictly, but it's a rule. Okay. So I think that's enough. I think you get the point. You will not have trouble traveling and skiing without a helmet, apparently. Okay, next, the recent avalanche accident on Mount Yote. I had a chat with someone in the industry, ski industry here at the resort earlier today, and the comment that he made was kind of interesting. You know, obviously we talked about how it was a foreign group led by a foreign guide, and then you had this accident. There were avalanche warnings, official avalanche warnings from the Weather Bureau on that day. And the key point is they had not submitted a Nyuzantodoke. A Nyuzantodoke is an official piece of paper that you are supposed to submit to like the closest police box or police department when you are going to be traveling in the wilderness. If you are going out into any national park or any forested area, even that's all season, even like camping, trekking, mountain hiking, skiing, whatever it is, technically you are supposed to submit a Nyuzantodoke, which lists the names and phone numbers of everyone in the group, the plan, like your route, like where you're planning to go to and when you're planning to return. So they have some dates, some times, and some contact information. It's pretty basic stuff. You put that in, then if anything happens, they get an emergency call or they check those reports. You're supposed to then check out. It's like a check-in, check-out kind of system. You tell them you're going to be leaving on this date and time, and then when you come back, you would go and you would say, oh, we all came back safely on this date and time, all good. If that didn't happen, then they would be able to say, hey, maybe these people are lost in the woods and they could come looking for you. They would also have names and phone numbers, etc. It's a good system. It's a nationwide system. If you go to popular hiking trails like on Mount Yote I don't know about in the winter, but in the summer they'll have a box at the trailhead, and in the box will be a clipboard with like a sheet of paper, and you can just write out your name, phone number, and your plan, and your date of return, etc., and put it back in the box. And then someone from the Forest Service or from the National Park System will come and check that occasionally, and they'll kind of look at it. In the winter, those boxes may actually be buried, and I think technically you're supposed to go to the closest police box and submit the form. I think this is going to be an issue in the future, especially now we have a lot of like international mountaineering guides, and it's not companies and people based in Japan. There are a lot of people coming overseas, bringing tours from overseas, and doing all these side country, back country kind of day trips, you know, all across the island. And in most cases, if nothing happens, it's no big deal. You take your group, you go out, you do a tour, you come back, you have beers, everybody's happy. But in the situation where, you know, there's an accident or something happens, there's an injury, and paramedics, police, fire department get involved, this is what you're going to be stuck with in the news report and in the newspaper. They're going to say they did not put in the official documentation, and they're going to be sticklers on that. And this is something that I think the international guiding companies and the local guiding companies too, obviously everybody's just trying to pump through a lot of business, you know, I get it, everybody's busy. This takes time to go fill out this paperwork. You don't want to go to the police box in the morning and like tell them this, and maybe your plans change. You know, everybody's dealing with the weather, and like, do we go up this valley or do we go up that valley? You know, there's variables. I understand that, but especially like on Yote, which is a pretty big mountain, and certain situations, it might be a good idea to follow those rules, especially on a day like that day, which was really sunny. It was not a crazy deep powder day, but the temperature was really high and there were avalanche warnings, etc. Okay, just thought I'd throw that out there. It's something I hadn't thought about when I talked about this in my last commentary. The Nyuzantodoke is an important part of Japanese culture, mountaineering culture, and it's something that I think people should respect. I think if people from Japan, mountain guides from Japan, take a tour to France to go to Chamonix or something, like, they're definitely going to have to follow the rules over there. It feels like it's mountain culture. Guiding, touring is longer history, much more strict. The guiding rules, the guiding certifications, all that stuff is really, the level is much higher in Europe than it is here in Japan. So it feels like if everybody from Japan went over, they would automatically be like, oh man, shit, we better like learn the ropes and follow the rules here. Otherwise someone's gonna tell you off probably. You're gonna get your ass kicked. Here in Japan, it's still such a wide open frontier. The mountaineering, although it has a long history and there's rules and culture, it's still pretty much a free-for-all. So I think that's about it for today. Little tidbits of information. I hope that adds some value and you learned something from that. Let me know if there's anything else you're interested in, any questions. I enjoy getting questions and then doing a little research and seeing if I can answer them as I learn stuff in the process too. All right, that's it. Great powder day, by the way. Today was incredible. Woo! Light, dry, blower pow. It was so light and dry that if you're on a snowboard, you were kind of sinking and riding the hard crust from yesterday. I actually skied today, and that was a pleasure because I enjoyed riding that kind of hard layer underneath while feeling that blower powder. That was pretty special. Drive safe.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmen.